All right, we are with Josh Pringle, Executive Vice President of CO2 Meter. How you doing today, Josh?
Awesome, Jake. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no worries. To get started here, can you tell us a bit about the background of CO2 Meter and how the company got started?
Yes, so almost 20 years in business now. So we're pretty broad spectrum of products, but we really were the business sort of started in the garage. So my original owners had retired, and one of them was tinkering in the garage and figured out some products he could sell and found some people to buy them. And my original president and CFO said, you got to get out of the garage now, Ray. And they moved out into a facility and, uploads this, super successful international company now. And one of the things we like to hang our hats on around here is about 30% of our business annually is international. So
Wow,
we're not a small fly by night organization. We are multinational, shipped to almost 100 countries last year, and our focus, obviously, the name of the company, our focus is on carbon dioxide, but we do other gases as well. So we're looking at oxygen, nitrogen, argon, helium, monoxide, probably even some of the more unique stuff, H2S, helium, things like that. So we've got a broad spectrum. We like to say we're gas measurement specialists, and continue to work to evolve into those areas that our customers need us to evolve into.
that's fantastic. And how long have you guys been in business for?
So just under 2 decades. I like to tell people the business has been around almost 20 years, but if you aggregate everybody's experience in this field that's at the company, we're looking at almost 200 years of experience.
Wow, wow. And then diving kind of into your background of the industry, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in the company?
I have absolutely no responsibilities. No, it's funny because I tell people all the time. They're like, "Oh, how'd you get into gas detection?" I have no. There's no reason. I have nothing in my background. I think the only thing that lends itself is I'm the youngest child of two teachers, and we were taught to be very curious and to have a lifelong educational process. So I'm always trying to learn something new. I'm always reading a book. Actually, there's probably 10 on my coffee table right now, all partially read. But that's sort of how I got into it. I was curious. I talked with the original owners. They had me do a couple sales and marketing projects for them, and then I jumped all the way into the deep end of the pool. I love what I do. I'm one of those rare people that my feet doesn't touch the ground until I get home at night. I love coming to work. I love who I work for. I think the thing that gets me most excited, Jake, is I love talking with people. I love meeting with people, whether it's about my stuff or other things. I think that human interaction is just so important to some people's life. And I spent yesterday training a customer over near Tampa. Just the fact that I got to sit down one on one with about 30 or 40 different people and have conversations about what's important to them. That's the kind of stuff that gets me excited.
Yeah, and I'm sure coming from that education background, your company touches so many industries that I'm sure you're always learning something. There's always some new application. It just seems like you guys are kind of touching everything when it comes to those different industries.
Yeah, and it's sort of a curse and a blessing, Jake. We got to pay attention to a lot of different industries, a lot of different applications, a lot of different competitors. But the flip side is when the pandemic's a great example. As restaurants start to sort of tail off during the pandemic, we're able to turn the dial up on scientific and medical and brewing and cannabis. So, we continue to grow through the pandemic. I know some people that's not a true tale for.
Yeah.
And then as restaurants start to come back, we can now turn the dial back up on that. So because we do so many different things, because we're experts in so many fields, we're able to sort of continue to raise those bars. As our customers need them raised, we go with them.
That's great. I think it's a great segue to dive into the product side of this. One of the products we want to talk about today is the oxygen safety alarm, specifically for low temperature. Can you touch on that a little bit and maybe how it was developed?
Yes, so this was, we've had oxygen safety alarms and oxygen analyzers for probably going on 10 years now. We finally got to a point where we felt like through R&D and testing that we were at a critical mass. We knew we had success. We knew had a great product, time to roll it out. We did some additional testing with the oxygen sensor. We're using a zirconium sensor, zirconia dioxide. gives us the ability for, there's a couple key components to it. It's very, very stable. So there's not a lot of bouncing around. There's not a lot of moving in and out of that sweet spot. It's super reliable. So we're looking at 5 to 10 years on the lifespan of the sensor. And the added benefit with zirconia is that we are able to measure at extremely low temperatures. So a lot of people stop sensing oxygen when they get to about 0 Celsius, so the freezing point. But we're going to be able to measure down to minus 50 Celsius. So put us in those cold storage facilities, food storage, cryo, any place where somebody's looking at ultra cold temperatures. The added benefit with that low temperature is when you get into some food applications and food freezing applications, the device is going to be able to sustain during long-term exposure to anything. Were you to have like a nitrogen leak, like some of the more recent fatalities have occurred from large nitrogen leaks, that oxygen sensor is going to measure accurately, even at those low release temperatures.
That's great. And safety is obviously a big concern for you guys. And how does this specific alarm help address different safety issues in various industries?
Yeah. So depending on what you're using, whether it's, I use the example, in food freezing, we're usually typically talking about nitrogen or CO2.
Yeah.
MRI rooms, they're typically looking at helium as a cooling agent. Refrigeration, you're looking at as ammonia, argon, and welding. So any of these releases are going to be usually at low temperature, extremely low temperature, or just at ambient. So the device allows a constant measurement of that oxygen in the air in and around where employees work to ensure that the minute we start to see that oxygen measurement start to be deficient, we're going to start to alarm and alert those people. And that alarm point for OSHA is when it falls below 19.5% oxygen. Unlike CO2 or others, there's no other alarm points. It's 19.49 and you are out the door. So that's one of the things about the device that we love as well, and customers love, is they've got that reliability. They know as soon as it hits that set point, they know what to do. They hear it, they see it, they're out the door. They're waiting to come back till they get the all clear.
That's great. And then what are some of like the benefits you think are instant for a customer? Obviously, I mean, being able to monitor the oxygen levels. Are there any other key benefits you think stand out with this product?
We always try to get to market with a fantastic product. We think we rely on quality, but we think we've sort of captured this in being in a cost-effective manner too. So easy install time, you're probably looking at less than 30 minutes for most people to get these things hung, plugged in, operational, up and running. And then cost, you're looking at half to a third the cost of some of the other major manufacturers. And that's because we've been able to essentially piggyback off existing products, Jake. So we're using the same enclosure as the CO2 monitor. We're using the same Cat5 cables as the CO2 monitor. Really, the biggest component change for us is the sensor. We were already buying it in volume. Now we just up the volume, able to reduce our costs and keep that oxygen deficiency monitor at a cost-effective place too.
Great, yeah. And this is a fixed wall mount product, right?
Correct. So
yeah,
we're trying to cover about 1,000 to 1,500 square with each device. So, big walk-in coolers, you might need more than one. Workspaces in and around food freezing, helium storage in an MRI room, you need one. What we've tried to do is get it to a sweet spot. But yeah, we're talking about 1,500 square per device.
Great. How long has this product been in the field for?
The original oxygen monitor with a different sensor has been around 5 years. And then we sunset the original model because we felt like this zirconia sensor was so impressive. And we've had the zirconia version for less than 6 months.
Oh, wow. So, are there any key customer stories that you've heard from people using this product, and maybe some success stories or different applications it's been used in? Or
I love that you're putting me on the spot. I can't mention customer names.
yeah, I'm sure nothing specific, but as far as maybe a story, you don't have to mention their name, but
Yeah,
something like
so
that.
we've been working with a customer overseas who has the contract to do the MRI rooms for their federal government where they are. And they contacted us and they said, listen, we typically been trying to do these and our cost is, $10,000, $15,000. Like, what do we do if we do this? We walked them down through it, gave them the specifications. They're off to the races. First 6 months out of the year, I think they're looking at 50 of these because they got
Wow.
50 MRI rooms to get up and running. And it's, the thing for us is when you think about an MRI room, if you need an MRI, Jake, you're in the machine's buzzing, you're sitting there by yourself. Don't fall asleep because you don't want to drool or any of those things.
Yeah.
The technicians in the other side of the room, on the safety side of the room, on the barrier, both people need to know whether that environment is safe. You need to know as a guest, as a patient, am I safe in here? And then that technician needs to know, are they safe where they are? And if it's not safe where you are, where that helium is being used, is to go get you out of there.
Yep. That's great. And let's touch on the Ratermann side of this. CO2 Meter and Ratermann are partners now, and Ratermann now sells and stocks the different meters that you guys sell. And we will be at the GAWDA SMC in May. I believe you guys will be.
You're
well.
going to be at the SMC? That's crazy. We're going to be at the SMC too.
Look at that. Perfect. Yeah. So I think both of us we'll have a booth set up, and customers will be able to walk around and talk to both of us. And I'm sure we'll have somebody from CO2 Meter in our booth and a Ratermann person at the CO2 Meter booth. So there should be some great conversations going on at GAWDA.
Yeah, we're excited, Jake. When I first started to have these conversations with you guys, it's very clear to us that you guys have created an opportunity for your customers to purchase everything they need in one spot. Have one conversation with someone, be able to get everything they need for a week or a month or a project. The fact that you guys have those relationships with people is important for us because it's that relationship that's going to elicit the information to get people the right product. So that was the reason, when Craig and Steve and I first started chatting about this, that was the reason we're excited is your guys' ability to touch those customers and have those relationships with them is so important to everyone.
Yeah, we are definitely a relationship-driven company. We value customer time a lot, and that's something that we definitely strive to be good at. So I appreciate that comment. Anything else you want to touch on, Josh, as far as the company or the product or anything else you guys have going on at the moment?
I know we're talking about the oxygen device today, Jake. It's sort of the top of mind things with people. There's been some incidents lately. There's an oxygen handheld that's coming with that same zirconia sensor. So a wearable for technicians in the field, if they think they're walking into an environment or they're walking into a facility where they could have an oxygen deficient environment, that'll be available soon as well. And then we've got some of the CO2 devices, the fixed CO2 monitor and the portable, already in the Ratermann system. So if people need it, it's available. Again, as that sort of one-stop shop. You're buying a tank, you might as well get a monitor for it as well. It's required everywhere. So
perfect. That's a great tip. Thank you. Well, thanks again, Josh, for coming on, and I appreciate your time. And we look forward to seeing you at the GAWDA event in May in Philly.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate your time.